Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, a bit of a reality check, I think.
Usually we look at where technology is going, the next big thing, right?
Yeah.
But today, we need to stop and look at where it's sort of stalled and how it's finally starting to move again.
Absolutely.
We're looking at the latest issue of Hawk Technologies newsletters, Streamline, and Scale. This is Volume 2, Issue 8. So when I saw the topic of this issue, it felt, well, almost retro.
You're talking about the title, AI Chatbots, when they deliver ROI and when they don't.
Exactly. I mean, we've been having the chatbot debate since, what, 2018?
And then again with the big generative AI boom in 23.
Right. It feels like we should have solved this by now. But Red Hawk is arguing that for a lot of businesses, the ROI, it just isn't there. Or at least it's not there automatically.
That's the key distinction, I think. We aren't questioning the capability of the tech anymore.
No, not at all.
In 2026, the models are brilliant. The issue, and this is really the mission of our deep dive today, is figuring out why we still have companies deploying bots that make you just want to scream representative at your phone.
It's that disconnect. Yeah. The promise versus the little pop-up window.
Precisely. So to get to the bottom of this, we've got a really interesting stack of sources. First, there's the editorial from Red Hawk CEO, Matt Strippelhoff.
Which really sets the stage on the strategy side.
It does. Then we have this very blunt article. It's called, Are Chatbots Still Worth It? Here's the honest answer.
I do love a blunt article title.
It doesn't pull any punches. And then my favorite part, an anonymous case study.
The anonymous ones are always the best.
They are?
The official ones are always so polished, everything went perfectly. The anonymous ones, they tell you where the bodies are buried.
And this one is a proof of concept story. It shows how a company went from, total skepticism to actually using this stuff.
So let's start with that big elephant in the room. The newsletter tackles this chatbot is dead idea right away. Is that really a thing people are saying now in 2026?
It is, but it's cyclical. And the source material points this out beautifully.
Okay.
Every couple of years, the tech world declares chatbots dead. First, it was because those old decision tree bots were just too rigid.
Oh, yeah. The ones where if you misspelled one word, the whole thing would just break.
The whole conversation just restarts, exactly.
Yeah.
Then it was because the early generative AI, the hallucinations were just too risky.
Right. The lying bot problem. Yes, we sell flying unicorns. Would you like one?
Exactly. But the argument here is that the chatbot isn't dead. It's just graduated. We've moved from those clunky scripts to genuine AI assistants. But, and this is the key, business leaders are tired.
They've been sold the dream 3 times now.
This time it really works, we promise. And that fatigue, it leads to skepticism. So the Honest Answer article gives this, it's like a litmus test. It says, stop asking if chatbots are good. That's the wrong question. Ask if your business actually needs one.
It had that checklist, right, for ROI.
It did, yeah. 3 things, volume, data, and purpose.
Okay, let's break those down. Volume seems pretty straightforward.
Volume is the easy one. If you're answering, what are your hours? 500 times a day? Sure, get a bot. It's just simple math.
Right, save your human hours for human work.
Exactly. But the other 2, purpose and data, that's where people trip up. Let's talk about purpose.
Okay.
The article argues that too many companies deploy AI just to check the box.
The innovation theater approach.
It looks great on a slide deck. Look, we're innovative. But without a clear purpose, like reduce ticket resolution time by 20%, it's just an expensive toy.
And that leads to the biggest trap, the one they mention in the sources, the set it and forget it mentality.
Oh, this is where that Commonwealth Bank story comes in. I read that and just cringed.
It was painful. It really felt like watching a car crash in slow motion.
It's such a good cautionary tale.
So for anyone listening who hasn't read it, Commonwealth Bank rolled out a new voice bot. The goal was pure efficiency, cut costs.
Aggressively.
Yeah.
They actually announced job cuts before the bot was even proven. They were banking on it taking over the workload.
And what happened?
A total disaster. The bot just wasn't ready for the nuance of real banking questions.
So people got frustrated.
Frustrated, hung up, and then immediately called back trying to get a human. So call volumes didn't go down.
They spiked.
They spiked. They created so much more work.
Wow.
They had to reverse the job cuts and actually hire more people to clean up the mess.
Which brings us to what the newsletter calls the empathy rule. I thought this was a really useful way to frame it.
It's a great rule of thumb. It's basically a sliding scale.
Okay.
If the customer's interaction needs empathy more than it needs efficiency, you don't use a bot.
So give me an example of the empathy side.
A healthcare diagnosis.
Yeah.
a complex legal issue, or just, frankly, if a customer's already angry. When someone's emotional, a robotic I do not understand is like throwing gasoline on a fire. It feels so dismissive.
For sure. But on the flip side, if I just want to know, where's my order?
You don't want empathy. You don't want a conversation about how my day is going.
I just want the tracking number.
You want speed. That's where the bot shines. So it's about knowing if your customer's in transaction mode or crisis mode.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so that's volume and purpose. But let's get to the middle one, data. Because the newsletter argues this is the main reason why even smart bots feel dumb.
This is the data disconnect. And this is, I think, the real technical heart of the whole problem.
Explain that, because in my head, a top-tier AI model in 2026 has read the whole internet. It should know everything, right?
Okay, think of the AI model like a really smart, charismatic, new employee. You know,
Right.
Let's call him, I don't know, Chip.
Chip. Okay, I like Chip.
Chip has a PhD, communicates perfectly. He's read every book ever written. Great hire.
Sounds amazing.
But it's Chip's first day at your company, and you haven't given him a login. You haven't shown him your product manual. You haven't introduced him to a single customer.
So Chip can talk about Shakespeare, but he doesn't know anything about us.
Exactly. A customer asks, "Where's my order?" And Chip can only say, shipping is a fascinating logistical process.
Yeah.
He can't actually look it up.
That is the dumb bot experience. It gives you the generic policy instead of your answer.
Right. A good bot, according to the source, is integrated. It's plugged into the CRM, into the inventory system. It recognizes you. Hi, are you asking about that red sweater you bought last week?
That seems so obvious. Why is that still so rare?
Because integration is the hard work. It's the unsexy part.
The plumbing.
It's the plumbing. It's much easier to design a cool chat bubble, the interface, than it is to wire the bot into a 20-year-old database, the foundation.
So companies are buying the Ferrari body and putting it on a lawnmower engine.
And then wondering why they aren't winning the race.
This is a perfect segue into that case study. Because this manufacturing company, they had this exact problem, but the stakes were so much higher.
Way higher. This wasn't about selling sweaters. This is a North American specialty manufacturer in a highly regulated market.
Regulated is the key word there.
It's everything. If their bot gives a wrong answer about, say, a chemical composition or a safety protocol, they don't just lose a customer. They could get sued. They could face massive fines.
So hallucination, the AI just making stuff up, was a complete non-starter.
Zero tolerance. They needed a precise AI, not a creative one.
And what was the specific pain point they were trying to solve?
It's what the source calls the access problem. It wasn't that the company didn't know the answers. The knowledge existed. It was just trapped.
I think every single person listening can relate to that.
Oh, absolutely. The answers were buried in, PDFs on a shared drive, old email chains, and the worst one, institutional memory.
Ah, yes. The Bob factor.
The Bob factor. Let's say Bob has been there 20 years. He knows everything.
Yeah. Bob has to eat lunch eventually. Or go on vacation.
Or, heaven forbid, Bob retires.
And all that knowledge just walks out the door.
Exactly. So their customer service reps, their CSRs, they were drowning. They spent all day just hunting for information while a customer was on hold.
It's slow, and I imagine the answers were inconsistent.
Totally inconsistent. So leadership says, we need AI. But they were terrified of the risk. So they brought in Red Hawk for a proof of concept, a POC.
And I love how the newsletter frames this. It says, this wasn't a science experiment, it was a risk decision. What does that mean?
It means they weren't just playing with new tech for fun. They were testing a business hypothesis. Can we build a system that is safe enough for our standards?
So they decided to build it for internal use first.
Yes, a tool for the CSRs, not for the public.
Smart. It's like a co-pilot for the support team. Lets the humans verify the AI before a customer ever sees it.
It reduces the risk profile immediately.
Okay, so let's get a little technical. How did they actually build it? The newsletter mentions chat with your data and this acronym, RAG.
Or retrieval augmented generation. Sounds a little clunky.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's actually the architecture that makes all of this enterprise AI stuff possible and safe.
Okay, break it down for me. How is it different from just, asking a normal AI a question?
With a normal AI, the model answers from its general training data, basically the internet. It's broad, but it can be shallow and wrong. With RAG, you add a step in the middle.
The retrieval part.
Exactly. Think of it like a court case. The AI is your lawyer. But you don't let the lawyer just make things up. You hand them a box of evidence, your company's PDFs, your safety sheets, your emails, and you say, answer the question using only what is in this box.
That's the grounding. You're giving it guardrails.
Perfect word for it. So in this case study, Red Hawk used Microsoft Azure. They ingested a year's worth of messy internal data.
And indexed it all.
Yes, using Azure Cognitive Search. And this is important. It uses semantic search.
What's the...
It understands meaning, not just keywords. So if you search for broken screen, it knows that's related to cracked display. Even though the words are different, it finds the concept.
Okay, so the system finds the right documents.
And then it sends only those specific chunks of text to the AI model and says, read this and answer the question.
And this is the critical part. It cites its sources.
The zero trust principle. The bot gives you the answer, and it gives you a link right back to the original document. So the CSR can say, okay, the bot says X, let me just click here and verify that.
It changes the game from trust the magic box to trust but verify.
Which is exactly what a regulated industry needs. It turns the AI from a creative writer into a diligent librarian.
So the big question, did it work?
It absolutely did. They stress tested it on a really complex product line. The bot was answering safety and troubleshooting questions instantly.
Wow.
It was even pulling up historical resolutions. We saw this exact problem 2 years ago, and here's how we fixed it.
So Bob can finally eat his lunch in peace.
Bob can eat his lunch. And even more important, the new hires have access to Dobb's wisdom on day one.
But beyond just the speed, the newsletter says the big win was confidence.
That was the huge takeaway for leadership. They sat down, they tried to break it, they asked it tricky questions, and because of that RAG architecture, it didn't hallucinate. It either gave the right answer or it just said,
I don't know.
I don't know, which is a perfectly acceptable answer in business. Making stuff up is not.
It's a safe failure mode. There's a quote here from Matt Strippelhoff, the CEO, that I think just sums it all up. He said, "Chatbots were never the problem. Strategy was."
That's a strong statement.
It really is. It implies we've been blaming the tool for the carpenter's mistakes this whole time.
I think we have. We've been buying the tool and just hoping it builds the house by itself. Red Hawk's approach is all about something they call operating leverage.
Unpack that for me. It sounds a little like finance jargon.
It is, but the concept is simple. It means decoupling your revenue from your headcount. Usually, in a service business, if you want to serve twice as many customers, you have to hire twice as many support staff. That's linear. It's expensive.
Operating leverage means I can double my customers without doubling my staff.
Exactly. Because the AI is handling the friction, the searching, the summarizing, the easy questions. Your humans are still there, but they're doing human work. They're handling the empathy cases, solving the complex problems.
They aren't just human search engines anymore.
You are taking the robot out of the human. You aren't replacing the human. You're upgrading their job description.
So looking at the big picture then, it's 2026. The tech is ready, this architecture, it works. The risk can be managed. So why isn't everybody doing this?
I think it's fear and inertia and, honestly, just the messiness of their own data.
It always comes back to the data.
It always does. Red Hawk actually includes a call to action here because they know this is where people get stuck. They offer a free AI discovery session and a PDF assessment.
Basically a way to figure out, is my house even in order for this?
A much better first step than just signing $1 million software contract. You need to know if you have the ingredients before you try to bake the cake.
Before we wrap up, I have to ask. If I'm a business leader listening right now and I'm still on the fence, waiting for the next version of AI, am I making a mistake?
I think you are. That wait-and-see strategy made sense in 2023, maybe even 2024. But in 2026, the wait is over. The bottleneck isn't the technology anymore.
So what is the bottleneck then?
The bottleneck is your filing system. I mean, honestly.
Seriously?
Yeah. The bottleneck is the fact that your company's most valuable intelligence is locked in someone's head or in an email from 2019.
So while you're waiting for the AI to get smarter, you should be getting your data cleaner.
That's it, exactly. The smartest AI in the world is useless if it can't read your company's book. And right now, for most companies, that book is closed and collecting dust. The tech is ready to read. You just need to open the pages.
That is a fantastic point to end on. The robot is ready. It's just waiting for you to hand it the manual.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, a huge thank you to Red Hawk Technologies for this issue of Streamline and Scale, and thank you to you for tuning in. Go check your data, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.